So, what if the best way to improve farming wasn't about someone telling you what to do, but about farmers becoming the real experts themselves? Well, that's the powerful idea at the heart of the Farmer Field School. It's a whole model for discovery and community led innovation. And today, we're going to break it all down. At its core, a Farmer Field School, or FFS for short, isn't just a school. Think of it more like a meeting point, a crucial intersection where three worlds collide. You've got the hands-on, practical wisdom of farmers, the rigor of scientific research, and the support of extension services. This is where real collaboration sparks to life. All right, so here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll nail down what a field school actually is. Then, we're going to zoom out and look at its four-phase life cycle. After that, we'll dive into the nitty-gritty with the 12 implementation steps, and finally, we'll connect the dots and see how all that process leads to some serious, real-world impact. So, let's start with that first question. What exactly is a field school? Well, it's not just one thing. It's kind of like it has three layers. It's an overall approach to learning, it's a specific method for how that learning happens, and it's a very structured process that ties it all together. Honestly, the best way to picture it is as a school without walls. It's a platform where learning is hands-on, it's group-based, and it happens right there in the field. And here's the most important part. It totally flips the script on traditional teaching. Farmers aren't just sitting there taking notes. They are the experts, actively analyzing and solving problems on their own land. Okay, so now that we know what it is, let's talk about how it all unfolds. A farmer field school isn't a one-and-done workshop. Nope, it's a whole journey, and it follows a really clear four-phase life cycle. This cycle is designed to take a community from the very beginning, the initial planning, all the way to long-term sustainable success. So this journey breaks down into four really clear phases. Phase one is groundworking. That's all about laying the foundation and getting the community on board. Next up is group formalization, which is where you give the group some structure, rules, leaders, the whole deal. Then you get to the heart of it, the learning phase. This is where all the hands-on field studies happen. But, and this is so important, it doesn't stop there. There's a follow-up phase to make sure the group keeps growing and innovating long after the official program wraps up. Okay, so that's the big picture framework, right? Four distinct phases. But how does the cycle actually work in the real world? What are the specific, actionable things you need to do to actually bring a farmer field school to life? This is where the theory hits the dirt, so to speak. We're going to walk through the 12 implementation steps. Think of this as the actual blueprint for building a successful FFS from the ground up. Now, these 12 steps, they aren't just some random checklists. They're the practical actions that make each phase of that life cycle we just talked about actually happen. They're the engine that drives this whole journey, taking everyone from that first conversation with the community all the way to planning for the future. The first 6 steps are really all about setting that solid foundation, getting those groundworking and formalization phases done right. You start with the right people, by training skilled facilitators and getting the community excited and involved. Then you bring a group of volunteer farmers together. From there, it's all about discovery. What's our current farming system? What are our biggest problems? And what's the gap between what we're doing now and what's possible? All right, so with that foundation in place, the next 6 steps are where the action is. This is the learning and follow-up phase. Because the group knows the problems, they design their own curriculum and field studies. They pick a central site, and then they dive right into implementation, getting their hands dirty. But they're constantly tracking their progress along the way. And it all wraps up with a review and a plan for the future, making sure the learning never really stops. So, we've seen the big picture cycle, and we've gone through the detailed 12 steps. And you might be wondering, why all this structure? Well, it's because this deliberate, thoughtful process is what turns a good idea into real, measurable, and lasting impact for a whole community. But for all this talk of process and steps, at the end of the day, it all comes down to people. There's this quote that just says it all. FFS programs hinge on the quality and attitude of the facilitators. It's such a powerful reminder that this isn't just a system you can execute like a robot. The success of the whole thing relies on having leaders who can truly guide, empower, and inspire. And that really brings us to the big takeaway here. The Farmer Field School is a carefully designed process, absolutely, but its philosophy is beautifully simple. Empower farmers to be the experts. So the question this leaves us with is a pretty exciting one. When farmers are the ones leading the discovery, when they're the ones driving innovation, what does the future of agriculture really look like?